Guys, welcome back to another episode of James' Minecraft Journal. This is day 44, and this might be another boring episode for well, not that many people will watch this, but if anyone watches this, it might be a bit boring. However, I feel the need to talk about several things, and since this is my journal, I feel this is a good place to talk about them. Now, funnily enough, most of them are to do with Minecraft, because that is what takes up a lot of my time at the minute. However, there will be some other stuff that will be involved. And while we do this, I think I'm just going to cave, because I'm in need of another 5 stacks of iron. And the best way to get that is caving. And I will probably die, and I'm sure that'll be entertaining for many. Yep, there's our first guy. I'm surprised I managed to find this cave, for crying out loud. I don't trust that hole there. Oh no. Oh yeah, I upgraded my bow, look. Larry's now power 3 unbreaking. So we can pretty much nail anything. Got him. Don't want to look at that guy. Got him. And we got 2 stacks of arrows. Anyway. This is not the point. The point is I need to turn down my volume before I start talking. So the first thing I wish to talk about is, well, I have a bunch of subjects which I have been meaning to speak about for quite a while. I guess I'll start off with what I did today, because that's an important subject in any sort of diary. Basically, the main activity today, well, of course it's Easter Sunday, so I actually went to church in the morning, and then afterwards, man, there's so many guys. Look at all that XP, for crying out loud. Oh, I missed him. And then actually after that, I went for a walk with my family, which was nice. It's the first big exercise I've had all year. No joke, like, I've done absolutely no exercise all year. I'm surprised I'm still as fit as I am, which is not that fit, but I think it's a lot fitter than other people might be. Ooh, get all that lovely XP, yes, we love that XP. So yeah, that was the IRL events. Oh no. Oh, bother. And as you can tell, I'm not wearing armour, so I'm very prone, like one creeper hit and I'm dead. But anyway, so yeah, went out walking, that was good. If I have a lot of outdoors activity, I begin to miss the indoors. And if I have a lot of like indoor activity like I have been over the last few months, I begin to miss the outdoors, and I thoroughly enjoyed my outdoor time today, which was really, really good. Like, I kind of missed, I've remembered how much I love the outdoors. Like, I mean, I'm afraid of wasps, that's my biggest fear. And I'm afraid of, well, not afraid, but there's stuff that concerns me outside, but overall it's definitely a good play, a good experience, going out for walks, going out for exercise like that. So it's something that I'm definitely going to try and get back into once I'm better. Once I'm better, that will come into the next part of my another part of my talk. One thing I feel the need to talk about, though, we're coming back to the game here, is keyboard layout. Well, not actually keyboard layout, more what I do with my hands on my keyboard. Because, like, I've heard a lot of people talk about what finger they use to hold shift in Minecraft, but I've never heard about anything else. Like what fingers they use to push WASD, what I mean, most people I'm sure will have the same thing, but I'm just curious. Like, for example, I'm sure most people use the thumb for space. I'm guessing most people use either the ring finger or the pinky for shift. Like, for me personally, though, I think I'm a lot different. I get the impression that in not just Minecraft, but in games in general that use WASD, I get the impression that people use their pointy finger as the main finger, like, for pressing W, I get the impression that a lot of people use that, whereas I use my pointy finger for W. So instead of using my middle finger for W, I use my pointy finger. That might just be me. That might be just common, and I'm just havering that I'm the only one that ever does that. But that's just interesting, and I can understand why people would use the middle finger, because it gives, you know, leeway to use the A and the D buttons with your other fingers, which is fair enough. I mean, it is quite awkward, I guess, for someone who doesn't, who is looking at the way I hold my keys. It's quite awkward for me to like switch from using my pointy finger to press down W to suddenly switching it across to D. And yet it's just the way I've been since I started playing Minecraft, because Minecraft was the first game I played that used WASD. Mountain Blade also uses it, but I started playing that after I started Minecraft. So, and then I played some Insurgency the other day with Ross and Ace, and I didn't technically play with them. I might talk about that later. That's not down my list, but that was an interesting experience that I should probably mention. So yeah, keyboard layout. I used my pointy finger for W instead of my middle finger. I'm not sure if that's normal or if that's strange. I doubt anyone's going to watch this, but if anyone does watch this, feel free to comment, because I'm interested to know what's considered the normal way of holding one's keys or pushing one's keys when playing video games. Not just Minecraft, but like any game that uses WASD, which I'm sure is quite a lot of games. Whoa, so many Endermen. Is that 3 Endermen? Looks like that's 3 Endermen. Yep, 3 Endermen. Let's kill them. You, come here. Anyway, what's the next subject? The next subject is toolbar layout. Yes. So I got one pair at least. So my toolbar layout is the next topic, and as you can see, that's easy to demonstrate because, well, unlike my keys, which I was talking about before, I can actually show you my toolbar layout on the screen right now. You can see that my pick is in my first slot, my torches are in my 9th slot. However, I do want to mention that I do change it. You might notice that sometimes when I PvP, I switch things about. So currently, this is my building setup. When I build, I typically have my pick in first slot, shovel second, sword third, bow fourth. I would usually have my axe in 5th, but I don't really need an axe while caving, so I just put whatever in there. That's kind of like an extra slot for just whatever. And then obviously I would have probably cobble or dirt or something like that in... Oh man, he saw me. Cobble or dirt, or the main block I was using, in my 6th slot, along with water, food and torches. That's generally how I've done it since I started the game. I think that's based off of Etho, who I think he uses a similar setup. And I think it's just through watching him before I actually played the game. I watched Etho, and that's just what I picked up, so I think that's why I do it. However, of late, I've been using a different setup in PvP. I mean, this isn't a bad setup for PvP in all honesty, and I'm pretty sure I did use this in the early days of my Walls games and my UHC games, but now I've switched around. And because I've played Capture the Flag so much, and in Capture the Flag, when you spawn in, it's automatically set to that. Now, when I play any sort of PvP, I tend to put my stuff like that. I tend to have my sword in first slot, my bow in second, and it doesn't really matter where anything else is. Pick's usually in third, and then I usually have a lava bucket in there, or maybe flint and steel. I don't use the fishing rod, although I would like to get into that because it's a really useful PvP tool, and yeah, you know, things like that. And I guess that's just efficiency for you. That it just makes it easier in PvP. You know, instead of, because I think part of the being awkward. Well, sorry, going back to my finger layout on my keyboard, it's kind of awkward the way I push my W key, having to switch to third to get to my sword. Sometimes it can be hard to switch to my third, fourth, you know, to get to the bow, whereas 1 and 2 are a lot easier to reach with my sort of finger. Mind you, with your middle finger it's a lot hard to reach any key, to be honest. I'm not sure if people do that or not. So yeah, that's just the way it is with me. And actually, I was going to mention a funny story that goes with this. Well, it's not funny, but I think it's pretty funny. And I have talked about this before, but in one of the games I won, I think it was the second game of UHC I ever won on Mineplex, I basically killed 2 people early on and got a Power 4 book from someone, so I immediately had access to an OP bow, although it took me quite a while to get. By the time I got that OP bow, there was 3 people remaining, including myself. There was myself, obviously. There was one guy that was stacked, and there was one guy that was in a skybase who I couldn't understand if he was stacked or if he was just in the skybase because he had nothing, or, you know, I didn't know what he had, but I knew that one guy was stacked because he had killed about like 15 people or something stupid like that. So I knew the guy that was stacked had very little healing, so I went after him. Now, while I was caving, I had my building set up with my pick in first slot. I mean, it makes sense, right? But then when I went after him, so like I started branch mining to him and eventually got to close to centre, so I dug up and left the cave. However, when I went after him, I'd switched my toolbar layout to my PvP setup, so I had my sword in my first slot, my bow second, pickaxe third, but I completely forgot. So when I eventually came up to him, I started finding my bow. That was fine, so I remembered my bow was in my second slot. Then, however, I hit him a number of times with my Power 4 bow, weakened him, went up to hit him, and I pressed 3. Now, my sword was in slot 1, my pickaxe was in slot 2, slot 1, sorry, no, slot 3. Let's try that again. My sword was in slot 1, my pickaxe was in slot 3. I pressed 3, and therefore picked up my pickaxe. And I immediately started hitting him with my pickaxe, and it was only for the final hit, the killing hit, that I hit him with my sword. So that was quite a nervous moment, because he, in chat afterwards, he was like, "Why were you hitting me with your pickaxe?" He might have thought I was some sort of hacker with like secret capabilities with pickaxes or something like that, but it was just an honest mistake. You know, I forgot that I changed my keys and started. Thankfully, it was a pickaxe in that slot though, which does do damage. If it'd been like, you know, my fist or blocks or something like that, which basically does no damage, I would have been absolutely stuffed. I comboed him, which is I think I would have killed him anyway, but because I comboed him, and then it was only after hitting him a few times I realised what I was doing and switched my sword for the final hit. But yeah, I have no memory of this place. So yeah, that is my toolbar story. My next thing I want to talk about, I'll skip that and do that later. Yes, so my current LP. If you haven't guessed it, I plan to do something special for episode 50. And the special thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to using enchants finally. I'm going to finally craft an enchanting table. I've been planning this for a wee while and kind of been building up to it. And I think it's high time that we should do it, because really, if I want my world to progress, I need to get enchants. Just briefly, I think a lot of time could be saved with enchants. If I wanted to make this series something that I do, like in amongst daily, like a busy life, then I would definitely need enchants in order to, you know, get resources quickly for builds and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to do. So just to get that out there, episode 50, expect us to build some sort of an enchanting station in our main base. The zombies are so annoying in this. They're all going to start coming here, see? Oh, what? He comboed me. Oh. That was just an honest mistake there. I don't normally use my sword in slot 4, as was proven there. That's going to be the death of me now, I know it. I'm going to start hitting a zombie with like a torch or something. Got a cool ravine there. Anyway. So yeah, that is episode 50, just to let you know. Next on my list is... wait, what? Farms set up at the moment. Yeah, so I just want to mention that I might not be doing interesting stuff on my LP at the minute, but when I start a world I want to like get farms and stuff set up immediately, just so I can have access to resources if I need it. Man, I suck at block hitting. So yeah, just to mention that I might be doing boring stuff at the minute, but I'm going to try and do building stuff amongst the farm stuff, but a lot of it will be like setting up farms, setting up roads, setting up, you know, ways of getting resources quickly, and then there will come a time though when there'll be very few farms that I can build anymore, and at that point we'll probably switch to building like bigger stuff and that. So yeah. Oh man. So yeah, that's the whole LP side of things. And another thing I want to talk about is, in case you didn't know, I am playing this LP in 1.7.2 because this was the last update in which mob spawning was okay. Basically in 1.7.4 and beyond it's glitched, so not as many mobs spawn in worlds that have less than a certain render distance. I'm not sure what this render distance is. I think it's between 8 and 12, but I'm not entirely sure what it could be. But basically I don't want to deal with that, so that's why I just playing this. I mean, I miss out on all the great features of 1.8. Personally, I loved the 1.8 patch. It was definitely one of my favourite patches. I saw that creeper. So it's definitely a patch I would want to play, but unfortunately I would much prefer to have mobs spawning in like they should. However, you might know that 1.9 is possibly coming out soon, and I will do a bunch of tests. It's like I've heard rumours that snapshots might be coming out this week, and if I see that I'm going to experiment with a snapshot when it comes out, and if I realise that mob spawning has been fixed, the mob spawning glitch has been fixed, I will definitely be considering switching to 1.8 briefly before switching to 1.9. Not sure how that's going to affect things and that, but I'm just going to give it a go. I'm going to see. But that's my thoughts on that. On the patch itself, they say it's a combat update. I'm not sure what they're going to change. I think they're going to do stuff with the Ender Dragon. It'd be really cool if they added more bosses. I'm not sure how that would work. The Wither was a good idea, a boss that you can only summon if you craft it or build it in a way yourself. But maybe another boss. It'd be really cool if they added another dimension, but that's probably a far-fetched dream. They might do, I don't know. In terms of, I've heard rumours that they might change the combat mechanics, and I've also heard that lag might prevent that. In my opinion, I am very, I love the way Minecraft PvP works at the minute. I mean, many people say it requires no skill, and many people say it's very boring. Oh crumbs, go away, you idiot. To an extent, yes, it is boring, and to an extent, yes, it's easy, but I think you often find that people on servers who call people, you always get these people on servers that call people hackers, and yet they're not hackers, they're just good. You often find that those people are the ones that don't think you need skill, and then when they come across a good player who has skill, they can't understand it, or they don't understand the mechanics to it and all that. But personally, I feel that Minecraft wouldn't benefit with a slower combat system. Like Mountain Blade has got a much slower combat system compared to Minecraft. Oh, what? I'm gonna die. Running. So annoying. So yeah, Mountain Blade, for example, because that's the only other like kind of fighting game I do, is got a much slower combat system compared with Minecraft. Minecraft's very quick. I've never played World of Warcraft, but I believe World of Warcraft is a much slower combat system compared to Minecraft. But I think I really like the quickness, or the speed of the Minecraft combat system, and I wouldn't want that to change too much. Maybe change... I'd like block hitting to be brought back, but I'd also like, you know, actual blocking to be easier to use maybe. I don't know how they would change that, but because often you find people just going slashing, but I know, maybe using some... using blocking in some way would be good. So that's my thoughts with that. But yeah, I'd really like new bosses. It would be really cool. If not, I'm just going to have to go and start playing Eternal Isle, although Forge doesn't work with for me for some reason. I'm going to have to check that out. Alright, what else do I have to talk about? 1.9 combat update around that. Oh yeah, and on that subject of combat, I've only just recently realised... oh man. I've only just recently realised... well, I've begun to understand armour more. I've begun to understand armour more, like how armour works and how the enchants that go with it work. So, as you know, one of the things I often like to quote to my RSG friends is, "Sharp one iron is better than unenchanted diamond." And while that's true, I think it's different for armour. In all honesty, I'm not quite entirely sure how it works, but I believe that Proc 1 iron is not as good as an enchanted diamond. That's my understanding of it. An example of something like this I'll give is in a recent game I played of Random Teams Ultra Hardcore. I was in a team of 6 or something like that, and basically we got an enchanting table and I enchanted a diamond shovel. No, not shovel, diamond helmet, and I got Unbreaking on it, and I was like, oh darn it. Got Unbreaking on it, and one of the guys said to me, oh don't worry, it's still better than iron. So I was like, oh fair enough. And I think that's the case. How that works I'm not sure, but I think for a chestplate you have to have Proc 3 iron armour before it's as good as unenchanted diamond, and for a helmet, leggings and boots you'd have to have, I think, Proc 2 before it's as good as unenchanted diamond. So I think that's my understanding of it. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was different in the days gone by, but like I said, I'm not completely knowledgeable on this sort of stuff. On that note, it'd be good if they added new enchants in the upcoming update, just because, you know, I think it might impact the combat system really nicely if they had different variations. Of course, I'm not entirely sure what they would add, but hey, they've done it. They've managed to make a bestseller game on their own, so they don't need me to say that. Oh no. Alright. Oh, there's some iron up ahead. That's useful. Okay, what's next then? Okay, so now comes the meat of it. Oh, bother! We're going to talk about my recent slave markets game that's up on my YouTube channel. I think I posted it 2 days ago. So basically, I had a lot of fun doing that. Oh man, he's got an enchanted bow. I don't think I got it. I had a lot of fun doing the slave markets game. At first I was really nervous. I was not being funny. I wasn't acting or anything. I was really nervous before that because I didn't know what to expect. But I managed to pluck up the courage to go in. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. I met some cool people in it, but there's a few things I want to address. For example, I'm not sure it's something I would want to do again. Maybe like once or twice, but to be honest, well, I mean, random teams games are fine, but there was something different about the Slaves Market game. I think I didn't believe people when they said there was something different, but I think there is. There was a very weird atmosphere that I've never felt when playing UHC before. It's hard to explain. I edited a lot out because, well, for starters, it lasted 2 hours. I didn't want to put in a full 2 hours of ultra hardcore, and a lot of it was simply a lot of it was just simply the guys were talking about inappropriate stuff. I think a lot of them are a lot younger than me. I think many of them could have been like, mid-teen age, which is fair enough, but I'm well beyond that now. I'm out of the teenage years, and so what they talk about was not necessarily something I would, ever want to talk about. And I felt it was best just to get it out. And I could tell they were younger. I mean, I think at one point, one of the clips I left in was when one of the guys raged after he died. The reason I left that in was because I wanted some context behind a decision I was making or something like that. But I would normally have left that in. If it had been, like, for example, RSG and it had been, say, Megan. Actually, I shouldn't just say Megan. If it had been anyone in RSG, I would have probably edited it out. But I had to leave it in then just to provide some context as to my decision. Another thing that I feel bad about in that game, the guy that I was with at the end, there was 2 of us left on the team. There was me and a guy called, or his user in-game name was Do You Minecraft. He was a really cool guy. I'm really, really pleased to have spoken with him and met him. He seemed to be close to my age. Maybe we were the same age, I have no idea. Didn't want to ask because, private information and all that. He was a real cool guy, but the thing I felt bad about was for the whole time I was complaining about my frame rate, and never once did I say I was recording. And I'm sure if I said I was recording, he would have said, turn off your recording. So, and I kind of feel bad now because I think if we would have won the game if I hadn't been recording. I think the only reason the Andrew guy at the end was able to combo me was because I was recording. I was lagging, and okay, my ping might have been bad, but I think he said at the end he was Scottish too, so I'm sure he had a similar ping to me. I wasn't quite sure what area of Scotland he was from, but I think he was from a lot further south than me. But I don't think that makes a difference with ping. Basically, I would say it was the lag that enabled him to win, or he didn't have the same lag that I did, and so that, yeah, basically I feel bad that I kept complaining about a frame rate for several hours to this guy, and I could have easily sorted it simply by turning off my recording, but the reason I recorded was because I wanted to, just get some good footage from it, and I did, and it was great. If you want to know, me and the guy Do You Minecraft and Andrew who won it, if you want to know, he was the guy talking at the end, the new voice which hadn't been heard throughout the video. Him and Do You Minecraft, we spoke for several hours after the game actually ended. We played in the arena for a time. They were both really, really cool guys, and privileged to have met them, if only through a video game. Me and Do You Minecraft actually played another game of Ultra Hardcore. It was like on the same server, because like we were playing on the arena, and they were like, "Are you guys playing?" And we were like, "Yeah, whatever." And it was like it was supposed to be teams of 2, but we ended up not teaming or something like that. We were on the same team, but we ended up just going ourselves. And I managed to get a kill, but and got down to the final battle, but I was facing Do You Minecraft, and he had already killed like 6 people. It was a very small game actually, it was only like 8 people in it, so he got 6, I got 1. That makes no sense. He got everyone but the one I got, and then we faced off in the end. So, yeah, good. That was good fun. Hopefully I meet him again, but I don't do that many random teams games, so probably not likely. That's going to be one of my biggest regrets was I couldn't win that game, because the guy was down to half a heart and he comboed me. If he hadn't comboed me, I would have won easily. Even if I did have a stone sword. Oh, it wasn't a stone sword, it was an iron sword. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about in this long conversation is my plans for the next few weeks. So basically what's happening is I will be in the house on my own for a few days, well, 2 weeks actually, so I will be hopefully getting a lot more recorded, a lot more worked on, hopefully put more time into episodes and stuff, and we can get some cool stuff built, mainly farms, but hey, I've already spoken about that. What was I going to say again? Let's just drop down here. Hello. I think, yeah, basically, so for 2 weeks I'm going to try and work solidly on getting episodes out of this. I'm going to try and work on the server a bit as well, just because I can. See, when my family are here, I don't record as much because I don't want to disturb them, and also don't want to give away the fact that this is what I do as a hobby. However, when I'm at college I don't have a problem doing that, because I'm pretty sure the family I live with there couldn't give a toss about what I did. They're not my parents after all. However, when I'm up there, they don't allow me to keep my computer on overnight, or at least they don't allow me to keep it on, plugged in. Whereas down here I can, at least for the time being. So, you know, it's a 50-50 pros and cons kind of situation. So I'm prepared to use the next few weeks to do as much recording as possible, and we'll see how that goes. However, after that, oh bother, there's a real possibility that I might have to go in for the operation that I spoke about on my lungs. I spoke about this quite a while ago, nearly at the start of when I started my LP, in the early days. So that's going to happen, I think, after these 2 weeks are up. And at that point I'm not sure what I'll do, whether I'll like pre-record stuff and get Domo to release it for me, because I can't do scheduled uploads. I'm not a partner, so I'd have to like leave myself logged into YouTube and get Domo to upload them when I'm away. I think I might do that. But you know, until then I'm going to try and work to get content out, and hopefully people who watch will enjoy. I was quite happy to see someone I play with on Capture the Flag. He was watching my Capture the Flag videos, even though it was the ones that were absolutely rubbish. Like, they were bad quality, jumping about, laggy. I was pleased to see that he was watching them though and enjoying them, so, you know, even if one doesn't get that many views, I'm in it for the nice views that I get on some of my videos, which is good. So that's the story, that's the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you again next time.